Welcome back to Omaha Unsupervised. I'm your host, Austin Dunham. It's our first show in the new year, and in the spirit of new beginnings, I've chosen a resolution for the show. This year, Omaha Unsupervised is losing some weight. We're trimming the baby fat, baby. My goal is to turn this show into a lean, mean, entertaining machine with cool guests, better gimmicks, social media that's set up, and all that goodness you deserve. It's not going to happen overnight. But slowly and surely, we're going to build this thing up starting right now. He's toured the country, stunning audiences with his amazing performances. A tested public speaker who has spoken at TEDx Omaha, combining magic, mentalism, and comedy into a performance you don't want to miss. Please give a warm welcome to the studio to the amazing Arthur Fratelli.
Yeah,
Austin, you are awesome. I love it. I love it. 52 cards in the box, like there's 52 weeks in the year. Add up the value of these cards, they add up to 365. That's how many days are in the year. 4 seasons, 4 suits. Let me get a good spin here. I've been practicing this. I used to play basketball in college. We got any fans of University of Phoenix online? Class of 2010. Represent! I would have been class of 2009, but we had dial-up internet. So, yeah. See, the symbolism of the cards doesn't just end there. I'm going to let all the muggles in on some secrets. Oh, and by the way, I will spin these cards one more time because nobody clapped the first 3 times. Thank you. You're a good audience. You deserve me. So here's the deal. I've traveled the country, I speak, I talk about the power of symbolism. If you're familiar with Carl Jung, Joseph Campbell, The Hero's Journey, the idea of going inside. The cards are a gateway to that. Symbolism is all around us to be absorbed by our subconscious. And to me, my little journey with learning how to shuffle cards with one hand illustrates this journey perfectly. See, the hearts represents failure. It's what you do even though you fail. Something you love. But there's a flip side to failure. That flip side is the diamonds. And yes, I did just go 6-7, everyone, if you didn't see that. The diamonds, that's the flip side, that's focus. That's the goals you're trying to attain in whatever your art, craft, discipline, or skill is. I call it ACDS. The diamond is your goal. Now, goals sometimes sound scary because they sound huge, but that's the whole idea, is make your goals small. See, if the step's too big, make it a smaller step. That's what the diamonds asks of us. That's focus. After that, we need a place to learn, someone to teach us. That's our mentors. That's our coaches. That's someone who knows a little more than you. That's what the clubs represents. That's a branch, like a shepherd leading his flock. This is the flow state. This is where things start to click, where what you love and your focus, you meet the right people. And that's flow. Failure, focus, flow. And finally, we've got the spades. It's the tip of a spear, tip of an arrow. Could be a shovel. Gets things done. That's the warrior inside each of us. It's the skill points you choose to spend. And I decided, after I had surgery on my wrists, that I would spend my skill points learning how to shuffle cards with one hand. You've seen it in the Westerns. You've seen it in magic shows by skilled magicians. And I decided I would learn how to take the cards, split them in half. 52 cards, 26 in each side. Dexterously, I would weave them together. And I decided to make sure I had a mentor, my club. See, I had my failure, something I loved, magic. I had focus, a goal, shuffling them with one hand. I had my mentor, an old VHS tape of Ricky Jay, one of my favorite magicians. And the spades, my skill points. How am I going to spend my time? So in my car, I had a deck of cards. In my office, I had a deck of cards. And before I went to bed, and every night, I would practice spreading those cards. My fingers felt like they were on fire. It hurt so badly, but I persisted. Eventually, I could line the cards up, and just like Ricky Jay, I gently squeezed. But nothing happened. So I'd try again. Nothing happened. That's because I didn't have foresight. I didn't have the joker. See, the Joker's the one that's been on the journey. He's gone through the hearts, the diamonds, the clubs, the spades. He knows what's wrong. So I called my friend Jared. He knows a lot more about card magic than I ever will. And I said, Jared, I've got my cards in my hand. I'm doing what Ricky J does. I've gone through the pain. I've got the cards together, but they're not weaving. Now, Jared paused and he said, Arthur, you're handling a deck of cards from the modern era. See, Ricky J's got a deck of cards from the Bicycle Playing Company in Ohio that are from way back in the 90s. Those cards were shaved differently, so they would not Pharaoh shuffle with one hand if they were face up. He said, turn those cards around so they're face down. Ladies and gentlemen, just like that. That advice from someone who's been on the journey, it made all the difference. And like a Ningo Montoya, I'm not left-handed. Ooh. That's my journey. That's my journey. Let me get this out of the way here. Excuse me. Put that over here. Walk away, you laugh.
Here, do you want to come take a seat?
Yeah, I do, but I want to give the audience some lollipops.
Perfect.
Is that cool?
Yeah, that's
Let's
cool.
dish them
Yeah,
out,
yeah.
man.
Do we
Let's
want to
dish
give
them-
some? Here,
Yeah,
do
you know
wanna-
what? First, I'm going to give you one
Okay, I'll take a
because
lollipop.
you were an awesome audience member. This
Perfect.
one wants to get away. Coming at you, front row. See, you get free lollipops when you
Okay.
come to see me on stage here. Second row. And watch out. Kid in the
my
front row,
gosh.
it's like he's in the Matrix. He's dodging it.
All
All right, let's do it.
Well, awesome. I love that. How long has it been since you first learned to shuffle those cards like that?
So I learned how to shuffle. I think about 12 years, I'd say, a decade at least, because I had to go
Okay.
through surgery. I've spent my life doing all sorts of things, Austin. I started up, I was doing balloon twisting in the old market
Okay.
when I was in college.
Balloon twisting.
Yeah, you know, like the long, skinny balloons like these. That's my yo-yo string. I do yo-yo tricks. But you know these long, skinny balloons?
Yeah.
I'd go out there, I'd twist balloons all day, and then
Oh, that was
I'd do a
sweet.
magic show.
That's sweet.
I'd do magic. And then I'd pass the hat, and I'd go home, and my friends would be like, dude, I've been at Pizza Hut all day. And my friends would be like, I smell like popcorn from working at the theater. I never want to eat popcorn again. And I'd be home like, I'm making money, like juggling and doing tricks, and it was fun, man. So I just kept doing it. And I just handed out business cards, and eventually people were like, can you do a party? And I was like, you know it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun.
That is awesome.
I've had a really cool career.
Where, I saw you sent me a video.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple of videos. So you perform all over the country. You
Yep.
tour. You perform with your kids.
Yeah, I've got my oldest, who's now older. I won't tell you how old, but he used to perform with me. Then my daughter did. But now I've got a 10-year-old that's rocking it. He's Fantastic Jack. And yeah,
Fantastic
we're doing shows
Jack.
together. We do the Amazingly Fantastic Show.
That is sweet.
Yeah, it's fun.
That is sweet. Now, I have a question about the suits. Did you come up with that iconography of the suits, or where did that come from?
No, it
Where's
is
that-
very similar to the tarot cards. If you've seen
Okay.
those, it's similar to that. But I've taken it to a framework that doesn't exist. And I take it to the next level by assigning yourself a mentor. With my background as a hypnotist, I realize that imagination is the most powerful thing ever. And if you can imagine things with a mentor and put that system in place, immerse yourself in them giving you advice. And the best mentors, like Marcus Aurelius said, is the best advice are those who pass, because they have no interest in the modern affairs of men. And it's like, read their books. What would they do in your situation? Well, they use their time wisely. That's what the system's all about. And it's about getting that 1% better. Huh?
Right.
Right.
And so you're going to be at the 1% Better conference.
Yes, and one of the co-founders of the 1% Better conference, it's this Kaizen term, a Japanese term. It essentially means showing up every day, getting better every day, because you're in it for the long run. And it's something Lexus did with their launch. Just like lots of companies understand this, and you can apply it to your life and your art, craft, discipline, or skill, whatever it is you love to do.
Right. I love that. I love that that's something that you're championing. I think a lot of people, I've seen your TED Talk. If you haven't seen the TED Talk, it's really awesome. I actually think we have a clip of the TED Talk. Are we able to go to that really quick?
Yeah, let's do it, man. Get my views up, dude.
If we don't, here we go.
Here's the thing. When you push past the failure, past the focus, you end up in that flow state. There's something left. And that's fulfillment.
Because you get confidence by seeing progress. And I've seen it with all 5 of my kids. I got one kid here with me. The rest are in the car waiting. We don't have anything. but God, am I wearing the same thing I wore in that TED Talk? No. Okay, God, that would have been a little embarrassing. Well, yeah, dude, I had video game addiction. I've suffered from video game addiction at least 3 separate times where I put my skill points, time, in something that I regret. And that was not getting better. It was getting better in an imaginary world. And we realize how powerful the imagination is. These modern games, they absorb us, man. World of Warcraft, that is a time suck. You cannot leave this Tolkien-esque realm where you're fighting dragons. You can't leave. But you'll never be in the present if you don't leave. You'll always be somewhere else. And you'll never be in the past. You'll always be in the past, the future, never in the present, unless you immerse yourself in a skill, an art, craft, discipline, or skill.
I love that. I love it. I think a lot
of you do comedy, man.
I do comedy. Right. I think, it is hard.
It's your art.
It's my art. It's something, and it takes
you
time.
Can understand it on a level others can't.
Well, I've had a lot of schooling and I think, you put a lot of hours into anything, you're going to understand it differently than those who do, you caught that spoon on your ear in that clip. I couldn't imagine myself doing that.
Right. Because you have a life.
Some would call it a life, right? But, it blew me away that you have taken the time to really, perfect these, and I don't.
But there's a reason I did that. It's because the call of anxiety. I've lived a life where I feel anxious and I feel most in the moment if I am practicing something from coin rolling to card tricks to archery. I've always felt in the now, not depressed, thinking about the past, worried about the future and anxiety. It's always that moment. And I think it's a meditative state that we've all kind of forgotten with the invention of the screen in our pocket.
Yeah.
We don't go to bowling league every week to get better, like our grandparents did.
Well, I think that it's really interesting that, you've taken the time to do this. And I was going to say something. It almost feels, as a comedian, I have things that bug me the way that people talk about them. And so I was going to say, you've put all these time into doing these tricks, and I didn't want to be disrespectful. I don't know is there like a magician term? Because I know
some people don't like tricks. Yeah.
Well, because I don't
care.
As a comedian, people say, oh, you're going to do, I call them sketches, right?
Yeah.
Written pieces of comedy, I call them sketches.
Right.
But when people call them oh, you're going to go do your skit or whatever, it's I put a lot of work into that. It's not just some skit. I've read this.
Vernacular. Right? I don't care, man. Call it whatever you want. You know what, man? If I'm having fun, the audience is having fun. That's what matters. It's a shared experience in the moment. I might do the same tricks every night for different audiences, but it's never going to be the same because it's a different audience. I interact with the crowd. That's what I love about live comedy instead of TV.
Right.
It's like that interactive moment.
Do you have tricks that you do that are like your favorite tricks of all time?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Kind of explain to me this process of creating a trick, putting something in front of an audience. How do you build up that courage? But how do you build up, in preparation for this, you and I had a couple conversations and you told me there's only certain things that magic does, right?
Oh, in the world of magic, the categories? Yeah, I could touch on that. So first of all, we got to look at the umbrella of what I do. I love vaudeville. That's a juggling type thing. They used to have dancers and things, but I love the idea of live entertainment that's just quirky, odd, different. Yeah. And I love skill because someone had the imagination to create a trick and then put in the time to do it. And it teaches us, we can all learn. Like everyone can learn this stuff if you just put in the time and focus and you push through the failure. There's a great William Blake quote that juggling always reminds me of it. And it's the fool who persists in his folly will soon become wise. And that essentially means push through looking like an idiot from mistakes, and eventually you'll be like, oh gosh, I'm good at this. So anyway, for me, juggling is one of my favorite things, but magic is separate. The juggler flaunts his skill. The magician hides his skill. A magician never goes, oh man, I put in some hours to learn that. A magician acts like they were born that way.
Right.
Whereas a juggler knows the truth. It's skill because of time.
Right.
And that's the thing people don't realize about any art, craft, discipline, or skill. When you're watching a master quilter in action, you don't realize how many times they failed, or anything. But so that's it. And that's been a joy watching my children go through that in whatever they do, ballet or anything, martial arts or anything.
Well, comedy is the same way, right?
God,
these comedians, the comedians who sit there and they work on their craft and they hone their, their edge, and they toe that line between risk and what is funny and what is safe, and how they really get into that. And when they're in the moment, when they hit those flow states, you don't even feel, and from an improv perspective, because that's what I do the most, that's what I love, when you hit those moments, you are very much in it and you're present, and it's just like effortless. And that, it's really the magician. It's effortless. It's the magician. It's effortless.
Yes.
And there are ways to do it, just like the juggler, where the crowd work.
Yes.
Everyone sees crowd work. These comedians, they post on Instagram and your reels and TikTok, and the crowd work, it's a skill.
Yeah, no, it really is. And being okay with your audience leaving when you're on the street or leaving when a joke doesn't connect,
Right.
And you can't take things personally. That's what being on stage really teaches you, is don't take things personally. And it's okay to fail.
Yeah.
But to answer your question about the magic tricks, I didn't pursue that trail of thought. And that is, there are only so many magic tricks in the world. They all fall under certain categories. You can make something disappear. You can make something appear. You can make something transport from one place to another. You can make something transform from one thing to another. You can make someone levitate or something levitate.
Okay.
And you can make something, you can destroy something and bring it back. And then you can have what's called unknowable knowledge.
Okay.
Essentially,
Is that how you
do
cut a woman in half?
the beginning? I'm not going to tell you how that's done.
Have you ever cut somebody
The
in half?
alliance would be very displeased.
Alliance.
I've already said too much.
You've already said too much.
The final escape.
Are we going to be smited?
Escape artistry.
Oh, escape artistry.
And that's the
okay.
final one. But yeah, so that's generally all the categories. Whenever you're watching a magician, you can kind of break it down to one of those categories. Now, my favorite is the mentalism. So I have a background as a hypnotist.
Okay.
I've immersed myself in endless literature and conversations about what is hypnosis? How does it work? Does it work? What is it what we think? But there's an aspect of magic called mentalism, which is the psychological aspect of magic. How did I know you'd say that number? How did I know you'd pick this? Just the psychological part of it has been
like
fun
mind
for me.
reading.
Exactly. It's like that. But the difference between a magician that reads minds and a psychic is a magician mind reader will say, this is entertainment. I'm going to use my powers for good, for fun. Whereas a psychic will go, I can talk to your dead grandparents if you give me money. And they use it for evil.
Okay.
And that one of the things a magician does is they spend their career talking about how magic is science. Harry Houdini did this when he talked to the author of Sherlock Holmes, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. He said, I challenge your beliefs in the world of seances and talking to the dead. And Houdini had him dead to rights. When that was all over, the study was all over, there was zero evidence for these seances and these rituals that were supposedly showing that we could talk to the dead. It was just, anyway, that's part of a magician, is to go around going, no, this is all science. And see, in fourth grade, I was led backstage to a magic show. We just seen a magic show at my grade school, St. Gerald Ralston. Represent!
Where was it? Where was it? St. Gerald's?
St. Gerald's, class of 86.
Let's go.
Yeah, it was awesome. I had a good time there. But in my fourth grade year, a magician came to town and he did this killer levitation in front of a curtain. Well, my teacher forgot which way to take us down for lunch because the curtain concealed how the illusions were done and what the magician was doing backstage. I was the line leader that day. She was supposed to go the long way, but habit. I'm standing there with the door open going, oh, what's that thing, this contraption? And I won't go into too much detail, but I was like, oh, wait, it's not meant. There's an explanation.
Right.
An explanation. And then ever since then, I'm like, oh, and then that followed that thread to like Carl Sagan, and a book I recommend to anyone. I don't think you should graduate high school without reading, discussing, and understanding via the Richard Feynman method. And that is Demon Haunted World, Science as a Candle in the Dark by Carl Sagan. It teaches us just how easily we're fooled. And that's what you learn in magic is we're all easily fooled.
Yeah. I
mean,
that's
I suckered you into having me on this show.
No, I'm so glad that you're on the show. I'm really interested in this idea of hypnotism and of magic as science, because that's one of the things that, I went to school for comedy. People look at me backwards when I say, oh yeah, my degree's in comedy.
Well, name it, man. Give a shout out with the whole.
Right.
Come on, what class?
All right, Columbia
City,
Columbia College, Chicago, graduating class of 2022. Represent Second City.
You got a lot of alum in the audience there.
Oh yeah, we're partying.
We got
up.
Nick on the camera. Metro Community College, class of 26. We were talking earlier.
So like this idea that these are things that are attainable. They're skills that you can learn. I think people will look at magic and they will look at comedy like, how do I do this?
No, please don't. I don't need the competition.
You don't need. Fair. But it's always this idea of it's possible. You're going to have to fail a lot to get
Right.
there. You're going to have to do.
And just rush towards the failure. And that's what the 1% conference is
Right.
going to be about. My presentation is going to be about rush towards that failure, welcome it, because you know what's on the other side.
Right.
You get to the focus, the
Right.
flow, and the fulfillment, and finally the foresight where you're teaching people.
Yeah.
And you only need to know a little more, man.
Right.
To help someone
And that-
along the way.
I'm super, you're putting together
Are
this
we
conference.
taking these off now?
I
didn't
took
even
mine
notice.
off. I was
didn't
so,
even notice.
yeah, you know
I was
what? Maybe
digging
I'll
that.
put mine on now.
Okay, now you put your.
Yeah.
That's
we got to
perfect.
keep them.
All right,
I
yeah.
had them on. I was just like, it works great for the lights.
Yeah, I do dig it.
No, I think, 1% Better conference. I'm super excited. I'll be speaking
Yes.
there as well. You can
Tell
get
us a little bit about you, man.
Well,
what you're talking about.
I'll be talking about improv and improv comedy and how you can put that, all together in your life along the same vein of failure, how to get up and just keep going again.
Yeah.
And one of the things we talked about is juggling, right?
Yes.
When I was in school, they taught us juggling as a method to keep going, right?
Yeah.
Pick the balls up, keep going,
It's that framework, man.
Right. It's a framework, and that's all comedy is.
Mm-hmm.
It's framing and filtering, right? What is this? What makes it funny? How do you look at it? How do others look at it? How is it perceived? I think that's a lot of magic. Do you think that magic and comedy find their footing in the fact that there is some mysticism behind
Yes.
it, that there's
Yes.
some sort of air?
But there is definitely in the world of comedy. So here's comedy magic, here's comedians. Comedians do not like prop comedy. They do not like magicians. They do not like jugglers. What do you got to rely on that stuff for? But when it comes down to it, it's about comedy. So for me, I love magic. And if I've meet people say, I don't like magic. No, you don't. It's like saying I don't like music. You haven't found the kind of music you like.
Right.
You don't like magic because maybe you don't like the big illusions like David Copperfield. Maybe you like comedy magic or parlor magic, or maybe you like close-up magic or coin. There's something you're going to like. So for me, comedy is the most important thing right now in the world.
Everyone needs
In
a laugh.
general, we all need a laugh.
Everyone needs
And
a laugh.
what takes care of cortisol and turns it into oxytocin better than applause and laughter? Nothing, man. It makes you feel better when you laugh, right? So that's kind of my goal. Is I love comedy magic, but to me, the comedy is more important. Especially what I love about magic is you can make it your own.
Okay.
You take it and you personalize it. It's like people who buy a Jeep. You buy a Jeep, you do what you want to it. Well, with magic, you can buy a trick. There's a huge market every day on Penguin Magic. Tons of new illusions every day.
Okay.
But now as an artist, it's like learning a cover song as a musician. Like you learn, I Want to Hold Your Hand by the Beatles, but you make it your own. Well, with magic, it's the same thing. You learn this trick, you buy it, you learn it, but now how can I make it my personality? And when you teach that to kids or anyone, adults, anyone who wants to learn magic or juggling or anything, it opens this whole imaginative idea of, there's a world I can create. I can be a writer. I can write comedy magic, and there is a career in there in the non-Muggle world that, teachers don't have enough hours in the day to explain to kids, hey, there's endless possibilities with your imagination.
Right.
They're busy going, oh my gosh, I got to get all this stuff crammed in Timmy's head,
Right. I love that you say that there is a world for it. It's about taking it and adapting it and making it your own.
Improv comedy is all the same thing, man.
Right.
Everything.
Yeah. I really do feel like there is something to be said for the freedom that you get when you choose to do what you want.
In fact, I've got the perfect example. My card throwing with Jack, where we came up with the routine for cutting celery.
I actually think we have that.
Yeah,
clip.
yeah. Well,
let's see
I
it.
think you got this. Yeah. Okay. So
Jack, you take that one, I'll take the one below.
that was funky.
Oh, you guys both got.
Right? So I'm like, we got to come up with some funny thing. We'll have a contest. Adults will cheer for me and kids for you, like Branson, Missouri. Everybody over here. Except Jack's like, if you're my dad's age, 67 or older, clap. And I'm like, 6, 7. Give me a few years away. But what's funny is we made that. How can we make it funny? Well, he needs to wear gloves for safety, but gloves aren't funny. Crown Royal bags
are funny.
and and the line about tax deduction. He's wearing a face shield. So Jack says, we've repurposed this from 2020. And like the audience is like, oh God, So it's been a blast putting a show together with him. And when things go poorly, I can blame it on him.
So where are you performing? So you do a lot of
Anywhere
stuff
that will accept me towards my community service hours if they sign off
perfect
with the judge.
Perfect. That's great.
So No, I travel all over the country, man.
You
We're
travel
going.
all over
I'm
the
going to be in California. I just got back from California, Tennessee, all over the country.
I saw,
So just
you know,
everywhere.
in that clip, were you at Vallis in that clip?
Yes, Vallis
You're
Pumpkin
Vallis?
Patch client for 21 years. Wow.
Wow,
Yeah,
that is
it's been
awesome.
a blast. That is such a fun venue, and I get to experiment out there with new things. That's part of the fun of this job.
Oh,
is
sweet.
I love, like, trying out new material, see if it works.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I love that. I love that. You told me you were going to do something.
Well, you
with
know what?
these.
I was going to tell everyone when they get home with their lollipop, yeah, they should all try this. We saw my spoon thing on the
Here,
TED
could you,
Talk, but
let's
I'm gonna-
step
I'm gonna-
over here.
I think I'll get
for-
over here where
oh,
we can be
maybe-
in this area.
I don't know
Tell me
if
if this is good. Nick, are you still there? Or
There
did I
you
put
go.
you to sleep?
There you go. We got you.
All right, we're good. Okay, I think this will work in this area. When you all get home, find a lollipop. Try to do this. When you're at home trying this, you're going to say to yourselves, "That's really hard. We should have clapped when we had a chance." Oh, I got a big finish. I got to try the big finish.
All right.
This is pretty cool. Okay, here comes big finish.
Nice.
I did that last week. I started choking. It was so embarrassing.
Oh my
Everyone saw me lollygagging. Put the studio logo up.
Well, guys, I'm
Wait,
so
hold
glad
on. Let me.
we're not out of here
Wait
just
a
yet.
second.
We got a
Let me
little bit,
just-
but put it back.
There we
and
go.
you recycle them for the next audience.
Yeah, I've
That's
been
great.
using these all January, pretty much, giving those away.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, Arthur, it's been so fantastic to have you here. I'm so glad that you were able to, put the glasses back on. I'm so glad that we were be able to be awesome on the Awesome Austin. You're amazing, Arthur. We'll call this, we'll name this.
AA.
We're AA.
We could have got more people here had we advertised as AA.
You know what? We should have. This has been amazing. I'm going to say that's the word of the night. Amazing. I'm going
I
to say
love it.
it's like imprinted. Is that
I will let you co-opt my word.
Is that the mentalist stuff?
Yes, it is. It's the hypnosis.
It's the hypnosis.
You're not going to ask where your wallet is for a week. You're going to be like, no, I don't need my wallet. Meanwhile, I'll be
You spending the money
Amazon.
I don't have.
more Elvis sunglasses. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being
Ah,
on the
man,
show.
are you kidding? It was great, dude.
This has been amazing. Please
Don't
check out,
undersell the 1% Better conference.
no,
February
no.
21, 22. You are going to crush it, man.
I'm excited to be there. I'm so excited that you're there going to be talking about it. Go ahead and check out the website 1%better.com.
You know it.
1%better.com.
And AmazingArthur.com.
And AmazingArthur.com.
And AmazinglyFantasticShow.com.
And the AmazinglyFantasticShow.com. This has been a blast.
Dude, I know. It was so much fun.
Please check out Arthur and check us out next month. We're going to have a great show. That's Thursday, February 19th. We're going to have Bad Pitches, a musical improv team joining us. Some of my great friends. It's going to be a great time. They're wonderful people, just like you. And you know what? We're going to have so much fun. We're going to have so much fun. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. It has been amazing.
Omaha Unsupervised. Yeah, that was great, dude. Free lollipops next
Free
month.
lollipops.
I'll leave these for
You're
the crew.
leaving?
Yeah, I'll leave them.
Perfect. I'm going to clone you with your DNA.